All right, so up on the roof here, I'm gonna take a walk around and take a look at a few things. Um, First of all, well, let's start with the upper section of the roof. So, obviously you can see there's some moss growing here. By the way, these are architectural shingles, are typically a 30-year shingle. You can expect to lose a couple years of life on the side that has moss growing on it and doesn't get a lot of sun. It's just hard on the shingles. But yeah, I would say I would estimate these shingles to be probably 15, 20-ish years old. So it's definitely in the second half of its expected life. But anyways, so this looked good for the most part. I did notice that when I pulled up under the shingles, you probably can't see it, but there is no ice and water shield. Ice and water shield is an underlayment material and it's self-adhesive, and typically you would see that under the shingles, right above where the rain gutters are, and that just keeps, like the name implies, ice and water from backing up. When the ice freezes and stuff and the snow sits in the gutter, it can back up, and it won't get underneath of it because it's actually stuck to the roof deck. But anyways, yeah, the only thing I saw wrong was two nails were exposed up here. Chimney looks okay, like it's sealed up well. No real issues with that. Gutters do need to be cleaned out on the front. So down here, again, we have more moss growing, which can affect the longevity of the roof. Typically a roof that is this flat, you would see like a flat roofing material like this. Not to say that you can't use shingles, but you have to take certain precautions when installing it, like using ice and water shield on the whole thing. It was hard to I can't tell from the sides. I did pull up here and I did see ice and water shield, at least down here. So that's one of those things. You're not going to remove the roof now, but if you start having issues, or if it needs to be replacement, you may want to consider a different type of roofing material back here. There is an obvious dip right here, and it seems solid, so I would think that it probably was sagging beforehand when they put the roof on. Could have been, well, who knows why it was sagging, but yeah, it seems to be, maybe it was supported from underneath or repaired, and it's not going to sag any longer. But the issues I see here is going to be with the flashing. First of all, this flashing is loose, and yeah, so if you look underneath, you can actually see the old flashing. I'm probably not going to be able to get under there to show you, but yeah, so water could easily get underneath here and then get behind that, behind there, and you could get a leak down there. So I don't know, this is flimsy, because there's no strength here. Typically, if you were going to install flashing like this, for one, you would probably need to put more nails in it. But when they bend this aluminum, if you put a little bit of bend on the end here just gives it some strength, and then it doesn't get wavy. You can see here, you know, it needs to be refastened. And then this here, I mean, I would recommend redoing the whole flashing, because this, you could see that they actually, looks like the old roof was maybe sealed with roofing tar, but it had that little bend I was talking about. It looks like they cut that off for some reason. So now there's no, it's just all wobbly, and you know, you're getting moss and stuff growing up underneath, and bugs, and it's just not a good thing. So I would recommend redoing that flashing there, and then come to the skylight. I have some concerns here with the skylight. You can see here that there's caulking. For one, if this is installed properly, you don't need caulking in that area. And two, you end up with, you can see that there's dirt in this channel here. I like to see this channel here, like the shingles are cut just a little bit short of the side of the skylight, and that way any debris that does accumulate can wash down and out. You get this debris accumulating in here, and with a heavy rain, water tends to back up under the shingles. So you know, I just think that these shingles should have been cut back a little bit farther, but I'm wondering why that caulking is there. And the caulking that is used is silicone, and it just comes right off. So you can see too that there's some dirt and moss accumulating up there as well. Also, looks like the seal in this glass has failed. You can see there's sort of like that white stuff in there. It's basically, well, with the white stuff in there, that leads me to believe that there's possibly rainwater getting in there. Usually from condensation you get staining, but not that white buildup. So yeah, that's gonna need to possibly be replaced. Just the glass part, I think you can just replace the glass, but it may need some more work as well. You see, this side's okay, but still it is real tight up against here. So then you coming down, and this should be caulked right here, this brick to siding interface. You have some siding that's loose here. Also, there's a piece of siding right there that's loose. There's something sticking out from underneath of it. I'm not sure what it is. This is becoming a very long video. But anyways, well, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Now you get on this flat roofing area. The edges seem to be coming up. And get my finger under the edge. There's debris accumulated under there as well. So water's definitely getting in there. To me, what it looks like is that they actually installed the new roof over top of the old roof, and so it didn't get a proper seal. That's what it looks like to me. I can sort of feel something under there that could be just a tar paper, but either way, the edges are going to need to be resealed. You can see here the flashing doesn't come all the way out, and so this part of it is just sort of was sealed with roof tar, and now that's cracking, and so you know, it's the start of a leak. And here, that's another thing too, the flashing they did install, they just sort of kicked the flashing, like bent it backwards and then filled in that that void with caulking, when it should be bent inwards, and then usually do it in a mortar joint, and then the top of that mortar joint gets sealed with caulking. So yeah, but that's cracking, so that's the start of a potential leak. And then yeah, so then this roof These flat roofs, they need to be recoated periodically with that silver coating that you see. Right now you can see where it's streaky, where it's starting to wear off, and over here where there's probably a lot of water flow. You can see it's sort of chipping. So yeah, there's I mean, it sounds, I think, maybe a lot worse than it is. I think the roof covering, like the shingle sections of the roof, are okay. You just sort of have flashing issues here, and then down here. This is going to need some work because of the perimeter. I don't know that you'll have to replace the whole roof, but you know, definitely some sealing along the perimeter. So yeah, that's pretty much it.